And so, you talk about how whenever something needs to be troubleshooted and let's say it doesn't work, and then you have like the appropriate vendor for whatever that asset that needs
Yep.
to be fixed.
Yep.
Now, does that vendor have to be brought on by the facility manager? Do they say
Yes.
these are our vendors that we work with?
Absolutely. Yep. 100%. So we want them to bring in their valued partners,
Gotcha.
and then we bring them into the system. Now there may be, as you know, most FMs don't like to have all their eggs in one basket. So they may have one, two, or three that are ranked. So
Yep.
we obviously have that.
Yep.
Permission based, if you want to change vendors midstream, but you're going to have your primary, and then you're going to have this. You could set it up to where this guy just does PMs, this guy does all my emergency service.
Gotcha.
So selects a vendor. Then of course we want their name.
Yep.
Everything in the phone is voice to text, so you don't have to type anything. So you just speak your name into it, speak what your problem is, and then you can actually take photos. So if you have something visibly broken, I don't care if it's tile, I don't care if it's ceiling tiles, FRP, shelf, whatever it may be, a lighting fixture, we can take photos of the actual issue that it is. Let's say it's a refrigerator that's got a broken hinge. They take a photo of it, they give a description of the part. It goes to the vendor, it's got make, model, serial number, description of the part, and a photo of it. We would hope that vendor would just stop at the supply house and pick that part up before they even showed up.
That's awesome. I mean, it makes it way easier for the vendor because then they don't have to go look at it and know that what it's broken, have to go back to the supply house, like what are you talking about? Because the customer has to pay for that. So then
100%.
you're saving more money again.
Yep. And it's a first time fix for the vendor. So they look like rock stars. Because that used to be the question I always got. Why don't you have this on my truck? And I was like, if I got to stock all these parts, I'm going to be driving an 18-wheeler. So
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I only got so much room in my Chevy Express van. Okay?
Right. And that's something else that we've actually had those same conversations. Is like, do you understand how many parts are out there for however many manufacturers are out there? They're all going to be different.
100%. It will. And the thing, like for you guys, you want to push the OEM. Let's say it's a condenser fan motor for an AC. Yeah. You want to push OEM. That's the one that was designed. If I buy aftermarket, well, now I can start tracking my aftermarket versus OEM condenser fan motors, and you can have that discussion.
Yep.
The client now with our system can go to a vendor and go, hey, you sold me at 28 of these widgets last year. My trends are telling me you're going to sell me at least 15. Why don't you go buy 15 in bulk, keep them on your truck. Maybe you can get a better price for it. So you can give me a better price on my repair. And we have these first time fix ratios. We increase uptime. It's a win-win for everybody.
Exactly.
It really is.
No, I love that. So what's your vision for EcoTrak in the near future? Like, what do you see kind of happening with what you guys are doing? Because obviously facility management is evolving. Okay.
Yep.
It is not what it was 2 years ago.
Right.
I mean, we're seeing the worlds of like Amazon buying, why am I forgetting this? Amazon buying Whole Foods.
Right.
And they're leveraging Whole Foods as something different. Not just, a grocery store, but like almost like where they can ship food from there to like their perfect clientele base. And so things are kind of changing. And so what's your vision with I guess EcoTrak kind of evolving with the change of retail?
All right. Well, I've already got Jeff Bezos' hairdo.
Yes.
Start taking steroids and working out more so I can look like him. No. No, I think as far as for EcoTrak is concerned, we tried to prove ourselves in the restaurant industry just because of the asset intensity of the actual industry itself.
Yep.
Classical finance is going to say, hey, they're labor intensive. We saw it asset intensive, right? So we've proven ourselves there. So next for us is obviously getting in different vertical markets, with retail, hospitals, convenience stores, things of that nature. But it's a constant evolution for us. We're always looking 3 to 5 years down the road when it comes to user experience and UI design and functionality as well.
Yep.
I don't want to say unlike a lot of platforms, but maybe unlike a lot of the legacy, we listen very clearly to what our clients have to say and their feedback.
Yep.
And we are at a point to where we're nimble because of the way we designed the system that we can make changes effectively if we need to. If we can't, we definitely communicate that to the client on why and how it affects the entire client base. So the UX I think voice recognition is really going to be huge, and obviously smart equipment.
Yeah.
I'm still not seeing the smart equipment piece. So in the restaurant industry, the diffusion of innovation, Have
No.
you heard of that? Okay, so diffusion of innovation is, you have your really early adopters. Those are the guys that wait in line for the brand new iPhone every
Okay.
time it comes
Yeah,
out,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Yep.
And then you have early majority, late majority, and then your laggards. The laggard is the dude that last year just got rid of his flip phone.
Yes. Yep.
So for the most part, industry and the restaurant industry, I would say they've been kind of laggards in technology. So with the smart equipment coming out, even though it's been out for quite some time, Manitowoc ice machines have been able to report via Wi-Fi on water usage, energy usage, failed components for probably 6 years. Do I see them in the restaurants? No.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think smart equipment is a big deal, but I'm waiting to see the market respond to it more. Because the other thing is data security, right? So these things are now reporting out, and I'm not going to speak as an expert on data security. So Robert Herjavec or whoever else is listening
Yeah.
to this,
Yeah. 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 Right.
it's not me. I'm off the cuff right now. But as far as because there's been breaches. Target got breached through an energy management system.
Yep.
Other locations they've had data breaches by certain systems reporting out. So I think that's really got to wait to be proven when it comes to the smart equipment piece. But that's another level. But I think voice recognition is going to be huge. And then for me, I really want to get this more to the consumer as well, B2C. I know we're B2B right now, but I think there's a huge opportunity in the consumer space. If you and I were just think about all the stuff that we bought that has warranties, when do we ever utilize it? Ever?
God, I don't remember.
No, you throw the TV away and you buy a new one, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever it may be, or the toaster.
And I know that I probably should have kept something, and but yeah, that's a very valid point. So I'd be intrigued to see how you guys would actually approach the B2C kind of market. It makes sense for the next evolution, if you will, of EcoTrak.
100%. And I think before we get to that B2C though, we have to realize, even though you and I both, we're dealing with chains, national chains and big organizations, there's a very underserved market of restaurant owners and little retail stores, things of that nature, where they still have to track things that are happening too. They still have R&M expenses, and they may not have this real quality vendor base. So being able to set up a system like that where we can provide that to them, I want to get too detailed because it's in the design mode right now.
Yeah,
but,
and that's where I respect that. I mean, I used to work for a SaaS company about 15 years ago, and so we would have like these conversations like, yeah, this can't leave this office. I'm like, this is kick ass. Whenever they would come out with these new features.
Yep.
And so like, because I mean, let's just face it, you can hire some dude out of the Philippines and they can recreate whatever you talk about probably in just a few hours. A few weeks or whatever it is. So respect that big time. So I know you before, whenever you said you had your summit, you learned a little bit more about the FMs. Today now, what do you think are some of the biggest challenges today for FMs?
Biggest challenges today is really having useful data and being able to analyze it appropriately. So there's that level of analysis paralysis. So as you had mentioned before, data is king now.
Yep.
But am I measuring the right thing?
Yep.
And is it, and just because I measured it, is it useful or not? Is it a vanity metric? So understanding what important data is going to be a huge deal. And then understanding how to analyze it and make it useful to the organization. Those are the two big pieces that facilities managers are now going to have to cope with. So them knowing how to replace a condenser fan mounted or AC, that doesn't necessarily help.
Yep.
Or trying to browbeat on pricing and things of that nature. I mean, we have to understand the true objective economics of what we're doing, and that boils down to data. I mean, it's hard to justify a relationship at a high level of service, but the data could tell me, okay, hey, these guys came in at $70 an hour, but they're here every week. These guys are at $95 an hour, but they fix it. I don't see them for 3 months. I can run data on that now.
Yeah,
and rather than having this race to the bottom.
And it's funny you bring that up because that's a conversation that my business partner Patrick, he's our director of national accounts. He's been a facility manager for 40 years, and so he's worked on every kind of unit you can imagine. He can walk people through and how to troubleshoot or fix a boiler without being there. So he's that knowledgeable about the heating and cooling type of stuff. Anyways, he talks about that exact same thing, is that a lot of times facility managers, property managers, whatever, are making decisions based off of like, well, this person charges $75 an hour. This company charges $95 an hour. Well, obviously I'm going to go with the cheaper one, but there is a cost that you also probably are going to be, they're either going to be hitting your NTE a lot more, or they're going to be here more often, or whatever it is. while the one person that charges a little bit more, they're just they get it done right the first time. They don't see them anymore for 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever the case is. And though you pay a little bit more, you're not constantly on the phone trying to get another technician out there.
Exactly.
So that
I think we have to realize, and the FMs are smart enough, they know that too, but it's the pressures that they're receiving from the C-suite that is forcing their hand. And that's the only reason why is because they don't have the data to uphold that established belief, right?
Yep.
And who knows though? Maybe the metrics are going to tell you something different. That in the long run, I do end up saving money, but is the hassle worth it all? Who knows? So I think the FMs are very well aware of it, but that pressure that they're getting from all sides on reducing costs, and especially when you're dealing with organizations where you have expenses to the location, but then you have this area cost, and then you have a CapEx here and this and that. And the other thing, they're having to answer to so many people. Those pressures are forcing their hand to make those decisions.
So then do you think with what you're doing, where you're providing enough data, educating the facility manager on how to use this data, do you think that's going to start giving them more firepower, if you will, to have these strategic conversations from the C-suite types of managers above them?
Whether it's firepower or not, it's just going to at least help them to speak from a point of education.
Okay.
That they actually know what's happening. It's not guttural. It's not subjective. It's, like in our system, I can say when this provider works on this manufacturer, these are the parts that they replace the most.
Yep.
And then I can look at the average cost. And then I can look at how does this unit perform in this region versus this unit performing in this region, vice versa. So we can create a lot of, all the way up to purchasing. Hey, man, I got all the information that's telling me I need to use manufacturer X in the Southwest region because this is how well they perform as compared to this manufacturer.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. It's interesting you bring that up too. Is I talked to a facility manager for Adidas, like 3, 4, 5 months ago. This was like right around the Prism trade show in Denver. Anyways, we were talking to him and I was kind of basically asking him some basic questions, and then all of a sudden he starts going into, he's like, I kind of created my own metrics. I'm like, what do you mean you created your own metrics? He goes, I started tracking things that no one tracked because it made sense to me. So now all of his Adidas stores all have the same units, every single one.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's smart because now you know what the lifespan of that unit's going to be. You know exactly what part you need to replace. It's not like, well, this unit is this, and then on this building there's 3 different types of unit on that one. But they're streamlining stuff, and he's using numbers, metrics to make his purchasing decisions on everything.
Exactly. And then you can even start planning PMs that way because, depending upon the area that you're operating in, how frequent do I need to clean coils or change filters as compared to here? I here in Southern California, I have everything from the high desert all the way down to the coast. We're going to be running different PM programs based on the environment that these particular pieces of equipment are operating in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, no, that's exactly the data that we're trying to provide.
That's awesome. I love this. And, I'm glad that you're explaining this, not just for me. I'm seeing it as like, this is a great tool to basically start talking to some of our customers and saying, I know you're using, XYZ work order system, but you might want to consider using, this company, EcoTrak, for more of that stuff that you're looking for tracking all of your assets. What would you say makes you different from the other work order systems out there? I'm not going to name anybody, but just kind of know what makes you better.
I think the first thing is we operate on 3 tenets. So the first thing is the operator first focus. We really designed this system. I know we're talking about FMs.
Yep.
But we designed it for our operations teams, the revenue generators. I needed to make it simple, easy, something they wanted to interface with so I can get the data because it's garbage in, garbage out, right? If they're not going to utilize the system, it's not going to help me.
Yep.
So that was our first thing. Focus first on the people who are going to be utilizing the system the most and make a mobile app that's really easy. Nice big icons, simple to use, walk them through a workflow. That was first. Next is mobile first technology. People are more and more on their phones and tablets. We don't need to be sending people back sitting on a desktop to place a service request or to review their open work orders or things of that or approve invoices when they should be out on the floor, increasing same-store sales and managing guest experience.
Yeah.
And then last is asset-first philosophy. I'm pretty sure, I never want to speak in absolutes, but I'm pretty sure we are the only platform out there right now that literally starts with the piece of equipment first. You don't search through types of equipment or areas in the building. You go, hey, it's my fryer. You type in fryer. There's my fryer. You select it. What's wrong with the fryer? It doesn't work. troubleshoot, get the vendor. Here's a picture, go. So it's on average, our operators replace a service request. We actually did a test, 15 to 17 seconds they can get a request in. So we used to get pushback. Oh, I can just call somebody. It's faster. I'm like, there's no way you're going to call and get a service request placed in 15 seconds. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So they can just open up the phone or right in front of the piece of equipment. Boom, it's that. Let's roll.
Yeah.
But all the other things that are happening as well, right on the phone, we have what's called the decision-making tool, where an FM can open it up and say, hey, I bought it for this. This is what it costs for a new one. Here's the estimated useful life. This is my net book value. We're actually capturing the depreciation.
Oh my gosh.
This is how much I've spent on it. So it's going to give you a gauge. They're going to set a threshold of my repair versus replace. They put in the proposal, and we're going to go, you're at 92% of your spend versus replacement, and you have no net book value. Maybe you want to get a new piece of equipment.
Yeah.
And then they get to see their trends after that. So then we're going to see the trends. When and where have I been spending the money? Have I been dumping a lot of it recently? As you know, they can give me a quote, and they could say, hey, our tool tells them, hey, let's replace it. But if I know I don't have the CapEx budget, but I got the repair budget, and I look at my trends and I see a nice flat line, every time I make this $560 repair, I get another year of life. I got the repair budget. I'm going to repair it, earmark that piece of equipment for replacement next year. Those are the kind of objective economic data. And then now that FM can go, well, this is why I repaired it. Yeah. I know it's old, but look at my trends and look at my CapEx budget. My repair budget's here. I'm going for it. We're replacing it next year. CFO, you're going to get that number when I run that report. So.
That makes so much sense. And I, again, it goes back to this whole data thing. I mean, I love that it's empowering people to make the best decisions possible versus just a arbitrary number. You know, it's like, this is what it is. And that's, I think it's a shame that we live in such a data-driven world right now, yet I would say the majority of us don't even use the data to help us make better decisions.
It's so tough to analyze.
It totally is.
And I think a lot of people are, I don't want to say confused, but they don't have the clear direction. Okay, what the hell should I measure?
Yeah.
I mean, what really makes sense? And can you get that feedback from the C-suite, or are they relying on you to go, no, you tell me what data we need to review?
Yep.
Because they're looking, the CFO is looking into outa. That's it, right? How much is coming in? How much is going out? That's all I'm looking at.
Yeah. And so, you know, and you can't blame them because they're not there. They shouldn't be there. You know?
Absolutely.
But if you're able to justify certain things, they're going to probably be like, okay, this guy is actually tracking stuff. He's giving me data to make better decisions. I get why he's spending more money on this. I'd rather have him do that.
Yeah. That repair versus replace scenario has been such a huge thing. And we have to look at depreciation. HVAC units, right? Congress says we can depreciate for 15 years.
Yep.
So that's going to be my standardized estimated useful life. As long as I can depreciate this thing is how long I'm going to hold on to it.
Yeah.
But then I can start running metrics and go, hey, this thing actually lasts 26 years. This thing only lasts 2 years, or whatever it may be. You know,
it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Eric, is there anything else that you want to kind of share that I wasn't able to kind of cover as far as what EcoTrak does and what you guys do?
No, man, I think we covered a lot. Feel free to send tacos or give me ideas on great taco places. I'm going to be in Colorado for RFMA.
Oh, are you?
This year.
Actually, there is a good taco place. It is called
a Rusty Taco. It's one of our clients.
Well, this taco place is it used to be known as Pinche Tacos. But they changed their name, obviously.
Yeah.
And so what is the name of that taco place?
I know Pinche Tacos for sure. I go to Denver. I go to that place. What is it? Machete, the tequila bar.
I think I've heard of that.
I think it's called Machete. But anyway, they got pretty good tacos there too.
Well,
now we're plugs for all these people.
When are you planning on coming out to Denver?
During the RFMA conference, which I believe is February or March.
Yeah, so are you going to be here a little bit early? Or are you going to be here? Or are you just going to come?
Yeah. So I'm on the online learning committee for those who don't know, RFMA, Restaurant Facility Management Association. Mm-hmm. I sit on a committee there. I've been a member for 9 years. I've written 5 or 6 articles for the magazine.
Nice.
Done a couple of education sessions at the national conference. So yeah, I get there usually Friday. And then we do all of our committee meetings Saturday, and then the big opening is on Sunday.
Gotcha.
And then we'll have a booth there.
If you have any free time, I'd love to get together, have some margaritas and tacos with you, man.
Absolutely, dude. I'll never pass up margaritas and tacos. Are you kidding me?
Exactly. So before I let you go, this is kind of your opportunity to kind of give everyone know how to contact you, how to get get started with EcoTrak. So you want to kind of share that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So first off, get to our website, ecotrak.com, ECOTRAK.com. You can see a lot of different videos. My videos aren't necessarily super content on the software. It's going to be a lot of funny stuff,
Yep.
but I like it being fun. But if you want to book a demo, really the best way to understand what we're doing is get in front of the product.
Yep, I
And
agree.
if you go ahead and book a demo, it's probably going to be me giving you that demo.
Cool.
So be sure to book a demo. Check out everything we have. Now we're on Twitter, EcoTrak FM. We are on Instagram, EcoTrak FM, Facebook, EcoTrak Facility Management Software. We're always putting out content, and we're going to be at the Restaurant Finance and Development Conference in Vegas actually this weekend.
Cool.
So if anybody's going to be there, that's where we're dealing with all those CFOs and those C-suite guys and trying to convince them of the data as well. So
awesome.
We're working for the facility manager, so we can let those CFOs know you need this tool.
Yeah. Well, Eric, again, I appreciate your time to just kind of talk about what you guys do and how you help facility managers out there to just better their lives.
Yep.
So it's been a pleasure to doing this. Again, guys, this is Javier Lozano Jr. with CMI Mechanical. We are a national HVAC company. What you're listening to is called Facility and Property Management Secrets Radio. I hope that you got some secrets today from what Eric was sharing. And I can tell you right now that I learned a lot on what he has to offer. And I'm just really happy about this opportunity and excited to kind of have this published as soon as possible. So again, thanks for your time, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Javier.